the graphs of f and g are given. The graph of f is in red, the graph of g is in blue. For the first part A, it says state the values of the functions below. So we want to find f of 0. Well, what does f of 0 mean? Well, if we want to find f of 0, that means that x is equal to 0, and we want to find out what is the value of y on the function f. So if we know that x is 0, then the y value on the function on the graph is 3. So that means that the output is 3. Now we want to find g of 3. So that means x is equal to 3, and we want to know what is the value of y on the function. So that means when the value of x is 3, then the value of y is 4. So therefore, when the input is 3, the output is 4. The next question states, for part B, it says, for what values of x is f of x equal to g of x? So for part B, it's saying, okay, when does f of x equal g of x? Meaning that where do they intersect? And do they intersect at more than one point? Well, if we look here, this is where they intersect, and they also intersect over here. And we want to find the values of x, okay? So what is the ordered pair as to where they intersect? Well, we know that the first ordered pair is -2 and then 1, and then the other is 2 and then 2. And so again, we're looking for the values of x. So that means the smallest x is -2, the largest x is +2. So it's -2 and +2. Now for part C, it's asking us to estimate the solutions of the equation for when the output is equal to -1. That means when is it that f of x is equal to -1, or it means the same thing as when is y equal to -1. So if we take a look at -1 on the graph, here's where -1 is located. Well, we can see that there's a -1 here at this point, and then we can also see that there's a -1 at this point here. So let's take a look at those ordered pairs. Well, that means the ordered pair, the first one, is going to be at -3, -1, and the other one is at 4, -1. So again, we're looking for the x values because we're given the output. So since both outputs have -1, the smallest of the x's is -3, and the other one is +4. Now in part D, it says, on what interval is f decreasing? So we're saying, okay, well, where is this graph decreasing? So it's decreasing starting here and ending here. And so it ends at this particular point. So on what interval of x is it decreasing? Well, it's starting at 0 and it's ending at 4. And so therefore, it's going to be bracket 0, comma 4 with a bracket. So therefore, this is the interval on which it is decreasing. Okay, so for part E, it's asking us to find the domain and range of f. So remember that f is in red. And so this is where it begins, and this is where it ends for the domain. So the domain is going from what interval? Well, it's starting at -4 and it's ending at +4. So therefore, there is the domain of our function. Let's find the range of that function. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete what we've drawn here. So let me go ahead and do that so we can see a clearer picture here. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to find the range of f. So if you look here, we're going to go to the y value, and we can see here that it's going to start at -2, and then it's going to end at the value of 3. So therefore, the range is going from -2 to +3. Now let's take a look at f. So again, this is the domain, and then the range goes from -2 to 3. Now for f, we want to be able to find the domain and range for, g. So for g. So if we take a look at g, okay, so the function starts here at -4 for the domain, and then it ends here at 3. So therefore, the domain goes from -4 to +3. And then we want to find the range of this function. So you can see here that this is the lowest point that it grows on the graph. So it's starting at 0.5. And then the highest that the graph goes is 4. So therefore, the range goes from 0.5 to 4. So we have 0.5 to 4.